Content warning. This episode includes foul language and discussion of violence. Trigger warning. This episode discusses racism as well as the murder of children. Listener discretion is advised. Girl, you know I work at a place that deals in product of all kinds, right? Like toothbrushes, razors, hair dye, clothes, all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah, I'm a frequent customer.
Okay, well, you know how you smell something and it just kind of never quite really leaves your nose? Like it just stays in your olfactory memory forever.
Ooh, like the scent of vanilla?
Yeah, but also the really bad ones. And you know how my job will pretty much they'll hire fucking anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was around the time that we did the episode about Shelly Knotek, and I was working at a position, you know, I work a few different positions at this job. And I came across this awful smell. It smelled really bad. It smelled like old rotting roasted fish and ass. Yeah, it was gross.
Ooh, was it Shelly Knotek? Did your job hire Shelly Knotek? And did Shelly Knotek walk by you and you smelled her like her bat wings, Courtney?
Bat wings.
Did she get out of prison, move to Texas, got hired on the spot where you are? Did she pull up a Zuzu and not even shower for over a year? Did you smell Shelly?
You would think. But no, it was an open can of expired cat food, and there were like flies and shit around it.
Ew.
Yeah, it was gross.
So, it wasn't Smelly Shelly?
Nope.
Then why would you mention your job hiring just anyone?
Because who opens a can of expired old cat food and just leaves it? That shit traumatized me. That should be illegal, and that person should be fucking fired. Like they shouldn't have hired.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's gross. It's nasty.
It's gross.
Yeah.
But speaking of gross, can we cover Craig Price now?
Yes. Let's quit roasting Smelly Shelly and cover Craig Price.
All right. Well, welcome to A Liar's Lament.
Lament.
Really? Guys, it's gonna be a long night.
No, it's gonna be a fun night. Welcome to A Liar's Lament. You know that song?
I do. I loved your singing too, by the way.
Thank you. I was singing the intro music to that show Step by Step. Do you remember that show? Or were you around?
I do.
There? You do? Yeah, it came on, what was it? After Family Matters?
I'm not that old, but
oh, thanks.
I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah, it was. This is exactly how the lyrics went. It was step by step, day by day. Fresh goes better with fresh Mentos, full of life. Mentos, the fresh maker.
That's not right.
That's gotta be right.
That's not right.
Hang on, I'm gonna prove you wrong right now. This is my jam. This is my jam. Hold on, what the hell? Why? There's so many like breaks in this. Step by step, day by day, mental. Oh, you know. It was close enough. Oh, okay. Anyway,
I liked your mix though.
Thank you. It was the freshness remix.
It was the Mentos.
Yeah,
which we are not sponsored by.
No, we're not. But like, that was like
sponsor us.
Yeah, Mentos. Come on, we would get you a lot of customers. You know, I know it's been a while, but come on now. Fresh goes better with Mentos, fresh and full of life. You know. So, speaking of fresh,
ooh, what?
What's up with Gregory Price?
Gregory, I like it.
Well, no, I have a friend named Craig. Hi, Craig Sullivan. You don't listen to my podcast. I'm still mad at you about that, but I still love you. I still love you, Gregory.
Obviously, he won't hear us if he's not going to listen.
You dick! Okay. I've been telling you for ages not to be a dick and to wear deodorant. And, I mean, you got the deodorant part down, but Gregory, come on. But this isn't about Gregory Sullivan. This is about Gregory, the Price is Wrong Price. So
yes, Craig Price. He is one of the youngest serial killers in US.
How old was this man?
He was his man-child.
This man-child. How old was this monster?
He was 13. His first murder.
Oh shit! Damn.
Yeah,
that's
Could
crazy.
You imagine?
I would probably. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. I'm conflicted. Like, if Anna was like, I don't know, if she was 13 and she was running around with Bunny, and comes up and she's like, I just murdered somebody, I'd be like, girl, we're gonna have a serious talk, and then we're gonna be moving to Mexico. So. No, I really don't. I don't know what I would do in that situation, and I'm really glad that I will never be in that situation. Anna, if you hear this, and
we will never be in that situation.
Yeah, Anna, in 9 years, when you hear this, nope, not happening. You're grounded. You are pre-grounded.
Man, so I don't really like to dig too much into serial killers' backgrounds, because I feel like we should cover the victims more, but Craig's background, I feel like, is worth mentioning.
Okay.
And hopefully, it's going to build the picture.
Okay.
Of this. I don't want to say you'll understand more, because nothing he did was right at all.
Right.
But I feel like it's important to know.
Wow.
So, Craig Price was born on October 11th, 1973, in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Whoa, I thought, for whatever reason, that, and I'm not trying to interrupt you, I apologize, but when I heard about him being so young, maybe I mixed him up with another serial killer that was back in like the early 20s.
Yeah, that's not this one. This one's in the 80s.
That's crazy. Wow. So recent.
Yeah, it really was. So,
all right.
Yeah. He is the third child of John and Shirley Price.
Okay.
His brothers are John Jr. and his sister is Kimberly.
Okay.
His parents met in church and were faithful Baptists. Very, very, very religious family. Shirley's sister, grandfather were both ministers. Everybody in the neighborhood said they seemed like a very normal, nice family. Many people have said. Shirley said that Craig had a gift for cracking her up, and her husband saying that he was always just the little jokester.
Oh.
She also said that Craig was very accident prone. One time he even slipped out of his house at age 3, got hit by a car, hurting his leg. At age 7, he had to get stitches from being hit on the head with a rock.
Jeez.
A couple years later, he fell out of a chair and broke his collarbone.
Jeez.
Craig loved football.
Okay.
His electric guitar. He loved hard rock, rap music. So pretty much what they're painting here is that he seemed pretty, I don't like to use the word normal.
Like a rambunctious little boy.
He seemed like a normal child.
Right.
He had a very normal childhood is what I'm trying to get to.
Right.
So, but he did have his problems.
Okay.
He discovered cigarettes first. Then harder drugs followed. Parties, petty theft, car break-ins, stalking, all around 11 and 12 years old.
Whoa.
We totally jumped, right?
Yeah.
So his teacher said that he was very bright. Very smart. But he ended up having to repeat the 7th grade just because he just wouldn't go to school.
Okay.
So that just gets me. I'm like, okay, if he had such a normal, nice, happy happy-go-lucky family.
Mm-hmm.
How does your child get on this path?
Well, I am not a psychologist, but I can actually pretty seriously answer that. So, I actually was having a conversation with a coworker the other day, and he was talking about how when he was in his teens, he had been getting into a lot of trouble. Like, he'd been to prison already. And, well, not prison, but, you know, he got into prison at a pretty early age, but not, though this was after his, like, 18th birthday. But he had been in and out of juvie and things like that. And it caused me to remember something, and this isn't verbatim, and I am, like I said, and I will continue to say, I'm no doctor or psychotherapist or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
But there's something to be said of I believe it's the cerebral cortex or maybe the frontal lobe that is still underdeveloped until you are in your 20s, which explains
I've heard that before.
Yeah, so explains a lot of the behavioral issues that occur in the teenage years and all what they call the teen angst and the stronger bits of depression and suicide rates and things like that, is because we as adults and even younger children can't fully grasp legitimately what a teen is going through. So with that being said, I purposely did not research this case at all. I'm kind of coming through this with fresh eyes. But I will say that while it is kind of shocking to know that this is the youngest serial killer that we know of, it's
in
not,
the U.S.
In the U.S. anyway.
Yeah.
It's not entirely a shock if you realize that, you know, the young brain is still developing. Like, it's quite literally developing. And that's why as parents, it's really important that we nurture that development rather than, you know, encourage things like violence and things like that. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, there is something to be said about that, and I just wanted to put that out there. So
I like it.
Thank you. I'm smart.
Oh, you're so smart.
I'm so smart.
So I saw several stories. I'm not going to get into all these stories about them because we don't need to hear it.
Okay.
But I figured I would do one story that because he's done interviews in jail and everything. So this is one of his stories that he told. So he said he was about 9 or 10 when he very first thought of taking somebody's life.
Wow.
Yeah. So he said he was about to race his brand new Roadrunner bicycle against a neighborhood kid who had just gotten a new Huffy bike.
Okay.
It's ageism, doesn't it?
Wow.
So his dad also worked for PepsiCo.
Right.
So he put PepsiCo stickers all over his new bike.
Mm-hmm.
And as the race was about to start, Craig heard someone yell a racial slur. Then a golf ball was thrown at him, bouncing off his leg. I do want to mention Craig Price is African American.
Okay, so he's a person of color.
He is a person of color.
Also, where, could you remind me, I don't know if you had said anything or not, but where is this located?
Rhode Island.
Okay.
In the 80s.
All right.
So, this part upsets me. I don't like racial slurs. I had to edit a lot of words out of here that I refuse to say. So, then after the racial slur was yelled towards him, then a golf ball was thrown at him, bouncing off his leg.
Wow.
When Craig turned around, he saw that it was an older kid who looked to be around 19, staring at Craig and yelled more racial slurs towards him, and then threw another golf ball at him. And then he headed to his beat-up Mustang.
Okay.
This story will kind of come back around.
Okay.
That's the only reason I'm doing this story. During the race, the Mustang started following the boys, and they were calling Craig, again, more racial slurs. They eventually ran Craig into a curb, which totaled his new bike.
Oh.
He got punished by his dad by spanking him over the totaled bike.
Wow.
Yeah, that part.
That's fucked up.
I was like, really? So, that, just kind of remember that's going to kind of come back.
Okay.
So let's get into these crimes that he committed.
Okay.
We're going to also kind of talk about the victims as we go through this.
Okay.
So first we're going to talk about Rebecca, or Becky, Spencer. This was Craig Price's first victim. So Becky was 27 years old. She had 4 brothers, 3 sisters, an ex-husband, a son, and a daughter.
Was she the oldest?
Of what?
You said 4 brothers, 3 sisters?
No, I think she's right, kind of in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know she had older siblings as well as younger.
Okay.
So after her divorce, her and her husband, they kind of split ways, but apparently they were still pretty cordial.
Yeah.
They were raising the kids together, just separately. She earned her GED. She told her ex-husband she planned on going to start college classes at night. So a couple days only later from that, on July 27th of 1987, she spent the day running errands. Her kids were at their dad's house that day, thankfully.
Yeah.
A friend of Becky's came over to help her pack for their upcoming move. Her lease was up in 4 days.
Okay.
Which is another just very tragic way of thinking about this.
Yeah.
That she was only going to be in this house for another 4 days.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So at about 9 p.m., Becky had another friend come over, a friend's boyfriend, who told the police that a bunch of kids were playing in front of her house that evening. This friend drove a beat-up Mustang. Young kid. So Craig was one of those kids outside playing.
Wow.
He sees this Mustang. He remembers it. He knows exactly who it is.
Oh, no. So he snapped.
So he, but apparently around 9:30, Becky and her friends went out for a couple hours. So Becky, her friend that came over to help pack, and this guy friend, which was apparently one of her friend's boyfriends.
Yeah.
So they went out for cigarettes, ice cream, dinner, and they went over to a friend's house to see her new dog. They left the friend's house around midnight. They dropped Becky off, and then the other 2 left. So sometime after that, Craig was smoking weed in his room. And also, his story gets mixed up here. He goes between weed and LSD.
Right.
I've seen both, so I don't know what exactly he was on during this exact time. It was one of those.
Right.
I've seen weed a lot more than LSD, but anyways, he was on something. And he was thinking about that Mustang that he saw pull up to Becky's earlier that evening. And while they were playing outside, the same Mustang that made him total his bike. Getting more and more angry, he grabbed his bat and headed over to his neighbor Becky's house. After getting there, he saw that the Mustang was gone. He said that he was heading over there. He was going to damage the car.
Mm-hmm.
That was what he said his purpose was of going over there, was he was going to take the bat to the car.
Yeah.
So he apparently got mad that the Mustang was gone and he couldn't take revenge out like he wanted to. So he went back home, he smoked some more, and then he headed back over to Becky's house, minus the bat this time.
Mm-hmm.
He jumped the fence into her yard and looked into the bedroom window and saw a bunch of moving boxes and clutter, but no one there. So he looked in a couple of other windows along the house until he got to the dining room. While looking into the window, a cat rubbed up against his leg, and then he noticed the cat slip into the sliding door into Becky's house.
Oh,
so that's
no.
how he noticed that the door was open. So he went in the house, following the cat, and he said he stared at her sleeping for a while before walking to the kitchen and grabbing a frying pan. After giving it a few practice swings, this is all his wording, by the way.
Right.
He decided that would be too hard to handle. So he put that down. He grabbed a 10-inch chef's knife. He went back into the living room where Becky was asleep on the floor. Since her house was all packed up, she was just sleeping like out on the living room floor.
Right.
You know, when you're moving, your house is a wreck.
Yeah.
So he stabbed her in the head and the chest a total of 58 times.
Oh, man.
Yeah. After he committed this crime, he left her house the same way he went in. When he was about halfway home, he remembered that he had touched the frying pan.
Oh, no.
So he turned around, went back into her house, took the frying pan. This just tells you how conscious he was of his...
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. It wasn't a fog. I mean, you thought, oh, my fingerprints are on that frying pan I picked up. If you can think that clearly...
Yeah, you know what the fuck you're doing.
I don't want to hear excuses.
Oh,
There's
man.
no excuse.
And this is kind of already a sad situation all around because he's already dealt with, you know, racial slurs and possibly being bullied for the color of his skin.
Yeah.
You know, that makes this a tough situation. You know, at the same time, though, there's really just no excuse for doing that to another person.
There's really not.
There's
you know,
not.
we try to make excuses for him, but I feel like once I start telling you a little bit more,
yeah,
it's harder and harder to feel bad for him.
Well, basically, the whole basic thing is don't be an asshat. Don't be racist. There's no reason to, you know, be like that.
No.
From one, and that's one side, and on the other side, it's like, and you don't fucking kill people for, you know, don't kill people.
I was listening to another podcast. I'll have to look it up and send it to you so we can mention them in the notes. Mm-hmm. But they were talking about the psychology behind the racial slurs,
mm-hmm.
and they can't prove it.
Yeah.
So none of this is proven, but they said there's a good chance that, you know, the racial slurs and the bullying,
mm-hmm.
that's the reason he did his crimes.
Right.
I mean, he's young. When he was doing this, he was 13 years old, his first murder.
Yeah.
13.
Kids can be fucking shitbags.
Oh, 13. I just oh my gosh. It's insane to me.
I hate to feel like I am lecturing other parents out there, but if there are other parents listening to this podcast, I implore you to not raise your kids to be shitbags. Seriously. Please just teach them basic human decency. That's all that we got to do is, you know, if they feel like the need to bully anybody or use racism or racial slurs or anything like that, then you be the nail in that coffin, you know?
Fix your kid.
Make sure your kids aren't doing what they're not supposed to.
Get them therapy.
Yeah,
do something.
Absolutely. Try not to raise them around the N-word and bullying and things like that. Don't glorify that kind of stuff. It's not right.
It hurts my heart.
It does.
So, anyways, get back to it. He went back for the frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
He walked about halfway home,
mm-hmm.
threw it in some bushes nearby, went back inside, changed his clothes, washed up, and then he put his bloody clothes in a duffel bag and threw them up in the attic.
Mm-hmm.
This case sadly went cold after a while.
Wow.
And but it was really never forgotten. They really kept working on it. It kept being switched from desk to desk, and it wasn't forgotten, thankfully.
Yeah.
And on September 4th of 1989, which is about 2 years after...
15 at this point.
Yes, he is 15 at this point.
Okay.
So, after 2 years murdering Rebecca Spencer while high on LSD this time, This time, it was for fact LSD. Okay. Craig broke into another house in the neighborhood belonging to the Heaton family to rob it.
Right.
The Heaton family. Now, I can't really find much information on them, except that I know Joan's husband, Joan Heaton, passed away about 5 years before her.
Oh.
It seems like he was in the military.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how he died. So there's really not much I can say about him.
Right.
I know that Joan's mother and sister have become heavily involved in the Rhode Island Victims Advocacy and Support Center, which is a nonprofit agency that provides services to families affected by homicide and violent crimes. So that's
going to go in the show notes.
Yes, please. Other than that, I can't really find too much about them, and that's fine. That means they want to stay personal.
Right. They want to stay quiet.
We do, and I totally respect them.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to really say about them. So, but I am going to talk about the crime.
Okay.
So, getting back to that dreadful day, while getting inside, he was confronted by Joan, which shocked him, and in a fit of panic, that's a quote, he beat and strangled Joan.
Wow.
Her screams woke up her two daughters, Jennifer and Melissa. Y'all might want to put some earmuffs on for the next 30 seconds. He then took a knife from their kitchen and stabbed Joan and her two daughters. He bit Joan and Jennifer several times. He used a bar stool to crush Melissa's skull.
Oh shit, I'm crying. Sorry.
Yeah. During the struggle, he cut his hand. This will play in later, so remember that. Good. And that is all I'm going to say about the murder, because
just can't. I get it.
I don't want to. I'm going to keep it just like that, and I feel like that's enough. So, anyways, that's why I say you start feeling a lot less and less bad for him, because you can't do that.
We cover quite a bit of child death on this podcast, and I think that as heartbreaking as it is, it's also very much so worth bringing attention to, because just like in the case of April Tinsley, sometimes these victims go forgotten, and these children are defenseless, and it's a very hard thing for Amanda and I to cover, because she and I are both moms, but at the same time, it is something that's important, and somebody's got to cover it. Somebody's got to bring attention to that. So,
yeah, it's got to stop.
It's got to stop. I mean, kids can be, I'm not going to lie, kids can be little assholes, okay? But there's absolutely no reason to, and I'm not saying that these kids did anything at all.
No.
But asshole or not, there's no reason. There's just no fucking reason. They can be trained and taught to be different, Homicide is not going to do anything but make everything worse. So,
yeah.
Sorry, off subject,
no,
but anyway.
You're good. So after that, the FBI was called in. I want to say obviously, and they linked the two murderers and decided this could be a serial killer. So once they did that, the profile that they were kind of looking at was a white male.
Okay.
Just because that's the most common serial killer.
Right. It definitely
the white
is.
male.
Yeah.
And they said just with the way that these were done, I don't know how they profile, but I mean, I watch Criminal Minds like no other business, but I'm not
usually,
a professional, so.
usually, I learned a weird thing. Serial killers usually are white males between their 30s and 50s, and they are usually diagnosed with like a narcissistic or sociopathic type of disorder. So,
Yeah.
it's interesting. The median age for a serial killer is around the age of 37. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I remember. So,
You're about right.
yeah, when they were like describing this kind of stuff, I kind of looked at my husband. I was like, Nate, you're not gonna go Chris Watts on us, are you?
Oh God.
And it kind of scared me because the way he looked at me was like, oh God. But then he was like, who's Chris Watts? I was like, oh shit, okay. So
Never mind, honey.
yeah, like, don't you worry about it. Just don't go Chris Watts on us. So,
All right. So, anyways, on September 5th, 1989, two officers saw Craig Price walking down the street and noticed that he had a bandage wrapped around his hand.
okay.
They weren't really looking for somebody who looked like Craig Price.
Right.
I mean, this was a 15-year-old boy.
Right.
But they noticed the bandage around his hand, and so they say they stopped him, asked him what happened. I do want to say before I keep going, he probably looked like an adult. Craig Price was a very big man.
Big man child?
At 15, he was 5'10" and close to 300 pounds.
Jesus. Okay.
So, I mean, they probably didn't realize he was a 15-year-old boy either. So,
Right.
let's get real.
So they were probably just really curious, like, why is this dude this full-grown adult, as they thought, walking around with a bandage around his fist? It's a little suspicious.
And they're looking for somebody with a cut on their hand.
Right.
They know this. So they see this bandage around his hand and they're like, hey, let's stop him. Let's just ask him. What does it hurt? So Craig told him that he had cut his hand while breaking into a car the other night when he was drunk.
Okay.
Man.
What?
It's better than murder, I guess.
Right, but, I mean...
That was his excuse. He broke into a car while drunk the other night. And that's how he cut his hand.
Meanwhile, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I was slicing carrots at home. And I cut my hand. Oops.
Well,
sorry
breaking
about
into a car while drunk at least sounds more believable.
Okay. Okay, Gregory. Whatever.
So, the officers got his information, and then they let him go. And then they went by the street that he mentioned and found no broken glass, any sign of break-ins. So they searched their records and found no reports about a car break-in on the street that he said. So obviously they're a lot more suspicious about him now.
Right.
They went to his house and they brought him in for questioning. His parents backed the police the entire time. They told Craig that he needed to tell them the truth. They gave him a lie detector test, which he failed miserably. So off of that, they were able to obtain a search warrant. And with that, they quickly found his bloody clothes in the attic. And they also found murder weapons in the family's back garden shed.
Oh, good.
So he's a smart one.
Yeah.
He was smart.
A liar's lament.
There you go. So he was interrogated, and he very quickly confessed to not only the Heaton murders, but also Becky's murder.
Okay.
He had no remorse whatsoever. He was even mimicking the sounds that the girls were making while dying.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I want to punch this guy in his fucking
I
head.
told you. You feel bad for him kind of at the beginning of the story.
I feel bad. I feel bad for his past. I don't feel bad for his murdering.
There's something wrong.
Yeah.
So, he's got a kind of a crazy after confession story.
Okay.
It's going to take us a little bit to get through as well.
Okay.
And then we will be done with this story and put it in the past and try to forget about Craig Price.
Okay.
So, because of his age at 15, Price could not face trial or be in prison in accordance with Rhode Island law.
Wow.
So, he was sent to a juvenile correctional institute called the Rhode Island Training School. He was placed in the school's maximum security wing, where he remained.
Hold on, they did not try this man-child as an adult?
No.
That's...
Right? So, this is why this is going to take us a little bit.
Okay.
All right? So,
all right.
They're smart. They got around it.
Okay, good. Good.
Well, he didn't help himself either. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
So he was placed in the school's maximum security wing, where he remained for 5 years. That is the maximum they could hold him for the murders.
Okay.
The victims' families and numerous of citizens were enraged about this, obviously.
Good.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right.
But during his 5 years in the institution, he refused to discuss the murders anymore and refused treatment and therapy. But he did have good behavior.
Good.
So therefore, the institution gave him special treatments, like counseling other residents in the facility, and he would perform minor security duties.
So he became a changed man, right?
Oh, yeah. So
I don't like that answer.
This treatment sparked even more outrage by the public, sparking a campaign to stop his release.
Okay.
Headed by the Assistant Attorney General, the police captain, and Joan's mother and sister. Their efforts eventually led to the passage of a bill that gave the Attorney General's office the power to commit a mentally ill person to a mental health institution if he or she posed a threat to society.
Okay.
This would even got President Bill Clinton's attention at the time.
Oh, good, good.
So on October 3rd, 1994, Craig was sent to trial for simple assault and extortion after he threatened the life of a correctional officer.
What a fucking idiot.
During the cross-examination by the prosecution, he started to throw a fit and totally rage, causing the end of the trial, and he received 15 years in prison for it.
In 1994?
Yep.
He received 15 years in prison, so that's 2004. So he was out in 2009?
Hold on.
Okay. Listen, I'm working on my math skills. I decided...
Keep a running list.
Okay, so this is 2009, where he was supposed to get out. Okay.
All right. So, in February 1996, this is 2 years after, Craig was involved in a fight with another inmate in which he bit a guard when he was separating the inmates.
Okay, what the fuck is this guy's deal with biting people? Is he
I think
hungry?
that's pretty common.
Is he hungry?
I think he's hungry. I mean, have you seen the man?
I mean, I don't want to diss him because you said he was how tall?
5'10".
And almost 300 pounds? I'm
Yeah.
5'11" and almost 300. I'm not, hey, all over the air. Yeah, I'm a bigger.
Do you bite people?
I mean, during sex. But, like, that doesn't mean I'm hungry. It means I'm the other H word. No, I'm kidding.
Anyways, we don't bite people. Craig Price bites people.
I had to put that in there, okay? I'm sorry that you guys had to imagine my fat ass biting people during sexy time.
Trying to kill me tonight?
Yes, I am. but in the good way. Listen,
Die of laughter.
Just a real quick, aside. Listen, it's been we're kind of recording our episodes a little bit ahead of time, and I'll make this very quick. Don't worry. But during all of this, Gabby Petito has been missing and found to be deceased, and it's been a very rough couple of weeks for all of us, and this is kind of a little bit of a comedic relief right now. So if it means that I need to make people smile by talking about my fat ass getting laid by my husband and biting him because I'm feeling the other H word that does not mean hungry, but pretty damn close, then so be it. So be it. And by the way, if anybody wants to diss me for my weight, that's fine, because all you're doing is telling me what I already know. I look in the mirror every day. I see it. You know what? That's fine. I'm happy with myself. I'm pretty fine about it. I still eat my Ben and Jerry's because that makes me happy. So I'm fat and happy. I'm fappy.
I'm going on a diet.
I'm gonna go on a diet too.
Hey, we should do it together.
Do
it with me.
I am gonna go on. I'm O positive, so I'm gonna go on the O positive diet. So no, I have.
You're so high and mighty because you're O positive.
No. I was recommended by my friend Ashley, who we have talked about in another episode. Who, by the way,
Ashley.
She has healed very, very nicely, and she also has modeled our merchandise. And I was like, girl, what do you do to lose all that weight? Because prior to my baby, I lost 83 pounds, and I gained all of that fucking weight back because Anna loves her. I
remember.
Taco Casa. Yeah, she loves Taco Casa. It's all Anna's fault. And she was like, maybe you should try the blood type diet. And so I think I'm going to look into that. But let's get back to Gregory Price, because we don't need to be talking about my fat ass. What's so funny? Oh, so Anna,
Put a piece of food in my mouth, right?
Amanda's eating a Cheeto or something while I'm sitting here like...
No, it's a fruit snack. Fruit slices.
Yeah.
Ben went to Buc-ee's yesterday.
Okay, back to Craig Price.
So, in 1996, he was involved with a fight. He bit the person.
Fucking asshole.
Craig Price was found guilty of assault, and another year was added onto his sentence.
I mean, what a fucking idiot. What an idiot. Ugh.
So, just because he couldn't keep his mouth to himself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In October 1998, Craig again assaulted another officer, repeated the same offense in 99, 2001, and 2009.
The fuck?
This obviously got his sentence lengthened more and more over the years.
What are you doing?
He apparently just wanted to stay there.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Actually, that might be smart. He might not have anywhere else to go.
He's just
like looking at his watch, and he's like, "It's time." So,
bite somebody else. So, on April 4th of 2017, Craig Price was accused of stabbing a fellow inmate, Joshua Davis, with a 5-inch homemade knife.
Hold on. What? 2017?
Yep. Almost there.
This fool could have gotten out. Oh my god. So he could have gotten out in fucking 1995. What an idiot. Okay. Gregory, I hope you're still alive, and I hope you're listening. You're a fucking dumbass.
He is.
You're a fucking dumbass.
Can't get. I guess he's better behind bars. That's where he just needs to stay, because apparently
this
behavior is not going to change.
Is he still behind bars?
Yeah, we're almost there.
Okay.
So on January 18th, 2019, he was sentenced for 25 years for attempted murder.
Okay, good.
Plus 10 years probation after that. So right now, Don't quote me on this because I couldn't really find an exact date, but from my math, his release date is in about 2044.
Okay.
So, cross your fingers. He's probably not going to make it out. I mean, let's just all be candid with each other.
This is the weirdest fucking case I've ever... It's sad.
Do it?
It's sad, but it's the weirdest fucking...
It really is.
Okay. Wow. Okay, well, is there any updates on him as of now?
He's still cray-cray. I don't know. He hasn't been anybody else so far.
Any quotes?
No quotes. I quoted a lot tonight.
There's no ending quote?
No, I put them all in between.
I'm going to add an ending quote. You ready? Quote. I'm going to bite you.
You're making me look up a quote now.
Yeah, we got to find this quote, man. But if not, I'm going to bite you should work. So, should we, like, name this guy as, like, some kind of, like,
He has, like, a couple names.
Okay.
He is the Warwick Slasher.
The Warwick Slasher.
Uh-huh.
Shouldn't we call him the I ain't got nowhere else to go, so I'm going to stay in jail vampire?
I'm still thinking.
Fucking dipshit. Oh, man.
Price told detectives he took off his shoes, climbed through an open window, went into the kitchen, opened a refrigerator, and took a little swig of orange juice.
What is that? Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like?
He told the detectives you should check the refrigerator door handles for fingerprints, too.
What? If you could see my face right now. What?
She's seen me. Then she kind of acted like she didn't see me. Turned around and started to run, like towards back of her room. That way, or towards her kids. I don't know where she was going. You can just tell he's just talking about this like it doesn't matter to him. It doesn't, like, these weren't people.
Oh my god. What a fucking... I feel bad. I feel bad for the shit that was handed to him at a young age. I do not like who he's chosen to become.
I mean, who knows if those things did not happen to him when he was younger? Who knows? Maybe he wouldn't have ended up the way he has.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have.
And to those of you questioning whether those things happened to him or not, I'm here to tell you right now, as a privileged white woman, that those things did happen to him. This is the late 70s through the 80s. Progression was starting to become a thing, but people were still, and still are today, unfortunately, hella fucking racist. And because somebody is a different skin color than somebody else, that automatically makes that person a monster to people, and it's fucking bullshit. So to those of you that are racist sympathizers, fuck off and rant.
Don't be a dick.
And wear deodorant. Hey, thank you, girl. Thank you, girl.
I did it.
She did it. She did it. We've made a nefarious nightmare history where Amanda just said, "Don't be a dick." I love you, girl. We just had a bonding moment. We literally just. I'm gonna cry. This is such a milestone, Amanda.
Oh, and
you're growing up.
What else?
What's
I
up?
do have. I am going to Chicago next month for a Vampire Diaries convention.
You are?
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to record?
We are. I'll be back.
Okay, cool.
I'm just going for a few days.
Okay. I'm going to miss you.
I'm so excited. I bought my plane ticket tonight.
I just told this chick I'm going to miss her, and she's like, I'm so excited.
I know. My mind's anything. I'm going to miss you, too.
Okay, good.
I
just had to fish.
I'm not going to miss our weekly date.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because we want to remain consistent for the listeners. Speaking of consistency, I guess we're almost done here. This is going to be kind of a short episode. But speaking of consistency, I have a little bit of news for everybody. We're still waiting on some fucking iTunes reviews. We've still only got like the 13 or whatever. So
come on, guys.
That deadline is coming quick. I mean, here it is, September 20th at the time of recording this. So you guys need to get on it.
Do it.
Another thing is we have a YouTube now. All of our episodes are up.
Go check it out.
Yeah,
subscribe.
Man. Yeah, go subscribe. And also make sure, I mean, we're trying to build our audience here. We're really trying to get to that point where we can donate back to victims and their families. So, like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Tell your friends about us. Like, we really appreciate that. And then I have one more quick update. So, Jason Vukovich, I have written him a letter, and I have finally mailed it. And I have asked the 4 questions.
Better than nothing.
Hey, it's better than nothing. But I did ask him several other questions, and whatever he answers, I'm going to respond on air. So it's going to be a fun day. But this is not my news. This is actually news that was shared via his sister today. Jason Vukovich has been funded for his PTSD treatment. And it was funded by none other than 1159 Media, who has True Crime Kent under their wing.
Yay!
So yet another reason why we love True Crime Kent. That whole entire 1159 Media should definitely hire us on. I'm kidding, but they are very good people with huge hearts, and I am very, very grateful in my own mind that these people are willing to do that for Jason Vukovich. This is something that he has absolutely been needing. So if you guys happen to be listening to this for whatever reason, thank you for being amazing human beings. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else, Amanda?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Oh, I have some news on behalf of Amanda. Her pipes are getting fixed right now.
My pipes are getting fixed. I'm in a hotel for a week, guys.
Yeah, she's hoteling it up.
But I don't even care at this point. They're getting fixed.
All right. Well, with that, we bid everybody adieu. Do all the things. And just don't be a dick.
And wear deodorant.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to A Nefarious Nightmare. Music used in this podcast was created by Ghost Stories Incorporated. You can find their music on bandcamp.com. We do have social media. You can follow us at our Facebook page at A Nefarious Nightmare, or you can follow our Instagram, Nefarious Nightmare Pod. If you have any stories of paranormal instances that have happened to you or ideas for true crime, please email us at anefariousnightmare@gmail.com. Thank you very much,